Today is World Mental Health Day, and this morning we want to help break down the stigma that surrounds mental health. Dr. Eric French joins us in studio this morning to share the importance in getting mental health screenings. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Corey.
Such an important topic, so many people suffering right now. So who should get to a mental health screening?
Really, I think anyone who is struggling with symptoms that is affecting their day-to-day.
Okay.
Right? If it's, there's situational things that sort of come and go based on stress. But if something is hanging on and it's not going away, it keeps bumping into you, then you should definitely consider getting screened.
Anxiety and depression are two big things that continue to pop up. What are the symptoms or indicators of depression?
Yeah, so depression, you're going to notice maybe a decrease in your energy level, a little bit less motivation. There can be changes in sleep, changes in appetite, right? Sometimes if it gets a little worse, people start withdrawing from the people closer to them because they don't want them to see them not doing well, right? And in the worst case, this can lead to feelings of hopelessness and even suicidal ideation.
We were just talking about the numbers, backing this up. I mean, really is incredible. A pandemic really kind of spun it into what it is now. Absolutely,
yeah. Pre-pandemic, the National Institute of Mental Health was talking about, 1 in 5 people struggling with some form of mental, behavioral, emotional issue. But now, post-pandemic, it's creeping a lot closer to 1 in 3.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
So a lot of people have anxiety, but how do you know when anxiety is becoming like a real problem?
Yeah, I think, the key in this field is maladaptive, right? So anxiety symptoms are actually really good in their sort of lower form. But once it starts to creep up to that level where it's difficult to concentrate, you can't think at work, you're becoming irritable because you've got that poor tolerance to stress building, muscle tension, people find themselves a lot less resilient. There could be, gastrointestinal symptoms, upset stomach, right? Sometimes people just feel generally like they, have no sense of control, no locus of control.
If someone's feeling like like you just rattled off all the symptoms for depression, anxiety, and someone's like, that's me, what should they do?
Yeah, I mean, certainly we want you talking to any qualified professional, right? We want you talking to your primary care, talking to a psychiatrist if you have one, a therapist, because in general, I think it's important to be screened, but anybody can drive you in the right direction, right? As long as they're a qualified professional, they're going to let you know if this is something that I can manage on my own or, hey, let's refer you out.
What's your advice? Like I was just saying, I don't have anxiety in my family, right? But I have people around me that have that. And it's like, what can you do if you notice someone that you're close to has depression or anxiety? What can someone do to help you?
Yeah, I think naming it is important, right? If you see somebody that you are around frequently or that you care about and you notice that they're struggling, they're not the same person, that this does seem to be sticking to them, letting them know that you notice and that there's so many options these days to try to manage these symptoms that not to shoulder it, not to keep it to yourself.
Where can people go for help?
Well, certainly we at Mind Spa in Greenwood Village are taking new patients. I love working with this stuff, especially new diagnosis, because some of this is just educating people on what's going on and that this is not, this isn't a terminal illness. This is an issue that so many people are struggling with. You can look left and right and find somebody.
Yeah, we've featured Mind Spa before. You guys are kind of unique. Talk a little bit about it.
Yeah, so we really try to engage the entire nervous system as part of the healing process. With every physiologic action and emotion, those things have a tie. And so we appreciate that, the standard mental health model is just not addressing all of that. And particularly as it relates to things like trauma, anxiety, OCD, you really have to have a more multi-level engagement.
And that's what you guys have there. Yeah, what Mind Spa is doing really is incredible. Thank you so much for coming in, Dr. French. Really appreciate it.
Thanks,
really, great stuff to talk about, important stuff to talk about.
Very. Thank you.
Thank you.